this. This is his fifth novel, and 100 stories. I think that's, for me, that is prolific writing, and I must congratulate him. But I must also say here that on this podium, this side of the dais, we have eminent writers in there. And these are the writers of the land, sons of the soil as we call them. So I would congratulate the writers who are the voice of our social consciousness. You know, writing from a land always has a kind of advantage because you are explicating the culture. So a writer per se, you know, has a multiple role. One, you are, you know, speaking in your own voice, and unless you speak, you cannot be heard. So writing is a medium of expressing the cultural ethos, the social ethos. So writers who come from our land and the way they speak is something that we need to recognize, and therefore translation becomes very, very significant. If I look at the translation, I was looking at the book Friends Forever and going through it, and I find that there are a lot of, you know, when I was going through the translator's note, I find that translation as a tool is, it's a tool to reach out to the wider audience. So translation today is very important. And most of the Telugu writers need to be translated, one. But translated how? Translation is more a transcreation. Because you are recreating the culture. You are recreating a language. You are recreating an ethos of a place. You know, therefore, it becomes very important that a translator understands the culture of the writer. The place from which the writer comes, the social milieu, therefore requires significance. Because one is looking at, in this case I think we talk about Telangana, and I think if you look at this novel, you know, he's talking about the place which is amongst the Telangana region, although there's nothing to do with Telangana in the novel. Now I must make a brief comment on the title here, Jigiri. Jigiri is close to the heart, you know, very, very close to the heart. So it's more than friends forever. And I think it is very important to look at some of the, you know, when you look at a novel like this, when you translate, one is also translating not just the culture, but in this case, if you look at the subject of the novel, it is about the jigiri or the closeness, the affection between man and animal. I think this has to do with a nomadic tribe. It has to do with a Sanchara Jatilu. That's how we know them, you know. The Kalandaru. You know, these are the, you know, we used to have a huge, we've all grown up in this particular region, seeing the Kalandaru. You know, coming with their animals and performing, be it the bear or the animal or, you know, the snake charmers. You know, this is something that as children we enjoyed watching. Now we do not have that. We do not have that because the social strata has changed. The national policies have changed. The Animal Rights Commission has come in. So, animal protection rights therefore says that you cannot have these performers. And the novel therefore captures this bond between the animal. Because when you have this Sanchar Jatilu doing all this, there is an immediate bond between the owner and the animal. You know? And the animal ceases to be an animal, becomes your child. You know, becomes very close to your heart. That is why the jigiri that he talks about. You become so close to the animal. You have trained it, it lives with you. So there is a bond, there is an affection there. And losing all that, suddenly the animal protection right says that you cannot do this thing. And I think it is that pathos, you know, that trajectory that the writer captures in this novel. It is also, if you look at it, you know, at another level or look at it more critically, is is also an explication. It's also a way of expressing how the jiggery is lost between man and animal. The bond is lost, or the bond is gaining. So the coexistence between man and animal has disintegrated. So the disintegration between the relationship. Now that jiggery was very, very important for the writer. And if you look at Imam and the story itself, I think the entire thing captures that. Now this novel is translated and told in 6 languages. Unless we have translations, how do we make the world realize or wake up to the reality that this particular region of the state has this kind of thing. So the tribal cultures and all. So that becomes a very important motive, and we have to have mediums of translators. And I think the students who are sitting here who know the Telugu, whose mother tongue is the Telugu language, who are well versed with English, must get into translation. We need young translators. Translators preferably from the same cultural background. See, the advantage is if one is translating Rabindranath Tagore's poetry, then you're not transcreating, you're just translating. Because you don't understand what the writer had in mind. It is not transcreation, it's translation. Whereas now, when you translate, you're in a time zone where one is lucky that the writer is there. The translator can check with the writer as to whether this translation really explicates his worldview. Because the writers have a very important role to play in the society. Salman Rushdie once said it is the writer's job to wake up the people, the social consciousness, so as to say, or whether you take, Fanon's, vision of reclamation of the past, reclaiming our history. Because our social history, culture, all these need to be reclaimed. And remember, our culture, our social history, our ethos is not there on the internet. It's not available at the click of the mouse so far. And we have to recreate that. How we do that is up to the translator. And one is lucky that the writer is there, and we have a series of writers on these days. I think it is important that we get more and more works get translated so that there is wider audience. Now, I find in translation there are 1 or 2 things. There's always a problem, to my understanding. You cannot translate the ethos. Jayalakshmi Garu is my colleague, I know her very well, but I don't think she understands the culture. I'll tell you why. This is not a criticism, please don't get me wrong, but where proverbs are concerned, where maxims are concerned, where sayings are concerned, it's very, very difficult. Something, what is that? We have Bellam Kottilarai, that's something we all know. Now that has been translated as a jaggery, pounded, dull stone, unmoving. Now I find that very difficult to take because I understand the proverb very well. I come from a region where I understand these proverbs. So the sayings and proverbs very difficult to translate. So one has to have that. Now even translation, I couldn't find. I was searching my mind. Maybe the author can help me. A lass who dies if touched, can she live if kissed? A lass, a girl, we are talking about probably a tribal girl. A pillaki lass and they like translation and they, we have to be careful. That is why I said the translator and the writer, if they exist on the same time zone, you can check. That advantage is there. So let's not lose that advantage. That's what I'm trying to say. Let the translators check with the authors as to whether do you agree with me on that? Some of these proverbs and sayings are not very well translated because I'm familiar with these. And I find it very difficult to take that. So that we need to work on that. Also when we are talking about it, that is where I said you're recreating a culture. you're recreating an ethos. So when we do that, we should understand that culture. We may not belong to that culture, but you have to try and understand. That is why a transcreation. Now it's also important to take a look at, how in this world, in this period of time, in the post-colonial era, voice has become an important force. And so this is part of our discourse. And therefore, a writer plays a very important role. Because texts or books are enmeshed part of the society. So you are actually talking about the present society. So how the society needs to be for the next 20, 30 years, future is something that the writers, we are not just reclaiming our past, but when you are writing, you have a social responsibility as well. So that social responsibility we need to remember, because not all writing, it's creative writing, so we cannot dictate terms to writers. But when we are saying that this writing belongs to a particular region, we also have a responsibility. When we say that, we must have a responsibility towards the future generations.